I'm here at the Pony Express Stables and Museum with Dick DeShawn, and Dick, we're coming out of a new era sort of for the Pony Express Museum. You've just completed a capital campaign. Maybe you can share with me a little bit about what that was all about.
Well, in 2007, we knew the centennial was coming to this museum, and we knew to draw people, you have to build new exhibits. So we had a capital campaign, and we raised about $500,000 to build new exhibits in the museum. And we know we did a good job because when people come through now, they say, "You've changed everything." Well, we haven't changed everything. We've just put in about 5 new exhibits. And the way we raise the money, we actually have in our entryway a wall out there, and if you wanted to contribute to the capital campaign, we would put your name up on a horseshoe.
Now, you also said that some school-age children got involved in the campaign as well.
One of the new exhibits, and we're just now working on that, we've broken ground on it, will be a one-room pony school. The interesting part of that exhibit will be that Hilliard Technical School students will build the school. And so when it's finished, it will be a school project.
So not only are we talking about local funding for the project, but we're actually using local creative people to bring it to life, too.
Yes, but the students are very proud of this. And you know, someday, 50 years from now, they'll be able to come back to this site and say, you know what, I helped build that school.
Now, you said there are new exhibits, you've changed things around. What can a visitor expect to see now? What types of things?
One of the new exhibits was after we completed the blacksmith shop, we had enough equipment that we could build a tack and leather shop. And we know that would have been in the stables in 1860 because not only did they have single horses leaving the stables, they had buggies that you could rent, they had stagecoaches you could rent, they could have wagons that you could rent. And so they were building harness and bridles. And we have the hoof of an oxen, and we have a shoe on the hoof of that oxen. And that's because oxen were used primarily in hauling the not stagecoaches, but wagons on their way to California. Most people think it was horses. No, it was oxen that they used.
Now there's something new too, an oxen wagon. What's that all about here?
Well, we know that when people came to St. Joseph, the first thing they did was they got outfitted. And what they did was try to buy a team of oxen to hook to the wagons. And then the wagon, it's an interactive exhibit, and what we have the children doing and adults is trying to figure out what would you put in that wagon if you were going to go to California.
A lot of the stories we've heard out of the westward expansion talk about families taking 6 and 9 months to make the trek from St. Joseph to Oregon City or wherever they might be going to the west, or Sacramento in the case of the Pony Express. Now you're telling me that that was not unusual because of the way they had to make the trip and the things they would encounter en route.
That wouldn't be unusual, and you got to remember, they weren't riding in those wagons, they were walking beside it. So the people that went all the way to California walked 2,000 miles.
Cindy, first of all, we've talked a little bit about some of the things the museum is doing that are new and new exhibits and so forth. Maybe you can start out, tell us a little bit about the theater in the museum and what's going on there right now.
You know, I've been here 5 years, and one of the things in 3 years was that people, you know, it was noisy. They couldn't hear the moment in time in the theater. So we went in and revamped it and made it where we had a flat screen TV and had better seating, better lighting, and that way then we soundproof that room so now people can listen to the video while someone's walking through the museum. So it just was a much nicer fit, and we can control the volume now in the theater room along with the moment in time. So for the visitor reception, it's a much better place, much better.
Now you have an area for the blacksmith, and certainly that was a key part of maintaining a corral of horses anywhere. So tell us a little bit about that.
You know, now you can actually say, well, the blacksmith would have stood here, you know, he would have went over and used the tongs, so I would have used the horseshoe, come directly to the horse and made it fit. If it didn't, he'd go back. So it's just a much better understanding for children. The fun thing is the wheelwright shop was also a piece of it. So the kids can now see how they made the wheels and, you know, what a wagon tire is. And
Sure.
come down and we'll tell you what it is. So, you know, kind of a fun moment. And what I find from kids is that if you lead them into something, how they can figure out what the pieces are. So.
Now you have an involvement with some old coins and so forth going on.
You know,
Tell us a little of that.
well, it's always exciting because, you know, people come through and see the museum, and they come up and approached us, the Solers family, and said, you know, you have a very small exhibit, and the families talked it over, and would you be able to fit in some coins that go back to 1860, 1861, and met with the exhibit committee, and how exciting it became, because then it became its own exhibit. It's quite a feat, but I think we've done a really good job here with the new exhibits and how we wanted things for 150th and how we're going to carry on for the next 3 or 4 years and get those things done, get them accomplished right here at Pony Express Museum.
To complete the visit to the Pony Express Museum, visitors are invited to mark your hometown on the national or international map to commemorate the starting point of your own Pony Express journey.